Years ago, I had a friend who was helping me learn the Nepali language, and this man was following a guru, a spiritual advisor who was teaching him what he thought was the way of truth. And this man's claim to fame was that everybody, every religion had something wrong, except he had the rules to follow to gain access into heaven. And my friend, so sadly, was being misguided by the spiritual advisor who did not have the truth. In fact, he is currently in jail for his teachings. He's made so many people angry. And the sad thing is, this man has claimed that after 30 years of living his life, he's found the place where now he is without sin. He is considered pure and perfect. As I tried to contrast with his guru, how Jesus Christ was pure from his birth, and that he died and that he rose again and was able to heal others and then also raise the dead, this man responded, well, my guru in India, he's been known to raise people from the dead. I thought, wow, I can't just criticize this man and reject the fact that he did that. It's his word against mine. And so I went back and I was considering this conversation. And then I came across the story in the book of Mark chapter 2, where Jesus Christ has again come into the town of Capernaum, and there was many people coming and being attracted to his teaching, his healing. And outside there was 4 friends who had another friend who was lame, who could not walk. And they carried him, they tried to get him into the house, they couldn't get him inside. So they took the tiling off the top of the roof and they lowered their friend down to Jesus. And as Jesus sees their faith, he looks at the man and says, "Son, thy sins be forgiven thee." Oh, and there are some of the scribes, some of the religious people watching, they said, "Oh, who is this man? It's okay to heal and help people physically, but to claim to have the authority of God to forgive someone's sins? Only God can do this. Who is this man, Jesus, who claims to have the power to forgive?" Well, Jesus Christ, who knows all things because he's God, he understood the reasoning in their hearts, and he told this man to take up his bed and walk. And immediately the man was healed. He took up his bed, he began to walk, and Jesus Christ says in Mark chapter 2, verse 10, "But that ye may know that the Son of Man hath power on earth to forgive sins, he saith to the sick of the palsy, I say unto thee, arise and take up thy bed and go thy way into thine house." Today I want to share with you the greatest power. There's a greater power than being able to heal someone's sight or someone's ability to walk who has been crippled. There's a greater power, and that is a spiritual work that only God can do. You see, this is the whole reason Jesus left heaven to come to the sin-cursed earth, was that he may take on a body just like the rest of us, to live the perfect life we could never live, but then to offer his life as sacrifice in our place to pay for our sin. In doing this, he has accessed the right to forgive us of our sin. When I talked with my friend again, I asked him this question. I said, "Does your guru have the ability to forgive sin?" And he said, "Well, actually, no, because as he grew up, he was a sinner. He had done things wrong. He has not been perfect all his life, so he cannot forgive anyone else's sin." And I realized this is the distinguishing characteristic of a power that only Jesus Christ possesses. There may be many good teachers in this world, many religious scholars, but there is no one who can truly claim from their birth they have been perfect. The Bible says we all have sinned and come short of the glory of God. But Jesus was born without sin, and Jesus, who is sinless, has the ability to forgive our sin. Oh, this is a glorious thought indeed. In the book of Exodus, we find that there was a great challenge between Moses and Pharaoh. It is really a contest between the God of Moses and the gods of Pharaoh. You see, Moses approaches Pharaoh and says, God has said for his people to go. He wants them to leave the bondage under the Egyptians and go to their own land so they could worship God himself. And Pharaoh says, no way. He would not allow that. So Moses, under God's direction, takes his rod and turns the water into blood. Well, the magicians of Pharaoh were able to do the exact same thing. And this was astonishing, and this hardened the heart of Pharaoh, because he realized my gods are equal to the God of heaven. So he thought. And he made the bold claim, "Who is the Lord, that I should obey his voice and let Israel go?" Well, the contest continued, and God told Moses to call up the frogs. They came throughout the houses, and they permeated every place there in Egypt. And the magicians of Pharaoh, they did the same thing. This went on some more. Then it came to the plague of lice, where the dust of Egypt was turned into lice. And the magicians of Pharaoh, they thought they could replicate the same miracle. And when they tried, they could not. They recognized, oh, this is the finger of God. This is something that only God can do. And my friend, though Satan does possess a certain amount of authority and a great amount of ability and power, it is limited, because Satan was a created angel, and he himself was lifted up with pride, and because of that was cast out of heaven. And God has authority and power over Satan. We don't have to fear Satan's bondage, because God has the greatest power, and he can liberate the captive. And that is why Jesus came. He came to set the captive free. He came to bring liberty. He came to bring hope. And my friend, if you are under bondage to your sin, you are a slave to Satan. But Jesus Christ can deliver you. He can forgive your sin just like he did that man in Mark chapter 2. And he can give you new life when you put your faith alone in Jesus Christ. Please message me or send me an email today at nickprint@yahoo.com, and I will be happy to send you your own copy, free indeed, True Stories of People Who Met Jesus.